then anybody that joins us can kind of catch up. We are going to start with just a little bit of a video to kind of get you in the gorilla mood and to show a little bit about the connection that gorillas have to humans and humans have to gorillas, which is the whole reason we want to go gorilla trekking, that we have that connection, that want to be close. So let's watch this video. It's 4 minutes long, and then right after the video we will get to introducing everybody and chatting.
Don't touch here.
So she touches there.
Like every child.
Every child.
Nous avons une relation très proche entre nous ici les gardiens et même ces oreilles. C'est ça notre bijou. Quelque chose de très magnifique que nous pouvons encore présenter aux visiteurs, c'est ce parc national de Virunga, ce sont nos gorilles. Ils manifestent un amour particulier vis-à-vis de nous. Et donc, c'est aussi une autre famille que nous avons. Quand on se sépare d'eux, on se sent qu'on manque quelque chose parce que depuis leur bas âge, nous sommes toujours ensemble. C'est nous qui leur avons appris à manger, à jouer, à faire toutes les activités ensemble. Nous avons Ndeze, Dakasi, Maisha et Matabishi. Le premier gorille que j'avais eu, c'était Dakasi. Le 8 juin 2007, on avait tué sa maman. Dakasi avait 2 mois de naissance. 1 mois après, comme ça, 1 mois et demi, c'est maintenant qu'on a eu le massacre. Là, on avait tué 6 gorilles. Et c'est à ce moment-là qu'on a rencontré le bébé Ndeze au niveau du dos de son grand frère. C'est des cris comme ça. Donc, c'était un cri d'alarme. Ils étaient abandonnés. Ils étaient aussi désolés. Ils avaient été confisqués au niveau du Rwanda entre les mains des trafiquants. Ils voulaient les vendre pour avoir de l'argent. Matabishi, comment ça va? Et pour Matabishi, il y a 1 an et demi, on l'avait rencontré seul dans un... Il sera, avec le bébé gorille, il sera arrêté. Maintenant, il l'avait abandonné comme ça. L'équipe de garde était partie, était rendue sur terrain pour le récupérer. Et on l'avait amené aussi au centre Senkwekwe pour qu'il ait aussi la vie comme les autres orphelins. Donc, leur mode de vie ne va plus leur permettre d'aller vivre en forêt. Ils sont habitués à rester toujours avec les gens. Alimentation aussi, ils peuvent même mourir si on les faisait rentrer dans la brousse. Nous voulons que nous soyons quand même des modèles. Nous voulons que nous puissions aussi éduquer les générations futures pour que la conservation de ces parcs puisse continuer, pour que les générations futures puissent faire mieux que nous. Sans oublier que dans le monde entier, Rwanda, Uganda, et Congo, dans ce secteur où nous avons seulement les gorilles de montagne, qui ne savent pas parler seulement, il manque les mots, mais ils sont proches de nous. Sont des animaux qui ont une très grande affection entre eux, même envers les humains. Ils sont à moitié hommes et à moitié animaux. C'est une fierté pour nous d'être impliqués, de travailler avec ces gorilles.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I love that video. It's just, you know.
It is. It's a shame they can't, that they don't have like a re-releasing program.
Yeah, I know that but I guess they're just too habituated at that time, and
Yeah,
you know, humans are still a danger, and danger.
they did the best they could.
Yeah.
Definitely. Better than the babies just dying. Woo! There's Irene.
There's Irene. And here's Irene.
And there's Irene.
Oh, me!
So this week you have, of course, Kirsten and I, but we are also joined with Irene from Women Tour Uganda, and she has joined us all the way from Uganda and will tell us about her company and all the amazing things she does, because she is so amazing. She not only owns a travel company in Uganda, she also owns a real estate company. So she is quite an amazing woman, and she is going to tell us a bit about herself and what she does.
Hi, Irene.
Hi, Marianne and Christine. Thank you very much. Irene and Debbie, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. And hi, everyone. My name is Irene Araga from Uganda. I love tourism. And above all, I love gorilla trekking so much. In Entebbe, our office is in Entebbe, and we've been doing business for the last 10 years. We specialized in women tours, and we love working with women. We also work with young girls. We do donate ultra orange pads to girls in different schools and empower them to stay in school, and also encourage them to be independent women. However, I am so grateful. I have worked with Women's Travel Club for years, and I'm so grateful for the partnership and the opportunity. I love and I look forward to host you every year.
That'd be awesome.
We would love that.
Yes, I know we are going through a difficult time of coronavirus, but what is going on, an update for Uganda, as I speak, we cannot visit the national parks, even for the locals who are in Uganda.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yes, so because we can transmit the disease to the animals. So the government of Uganda loves to protect animals a lot. And they decided to close off the national parks. So it is closed up to the end of April.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we are hoping that beginning of May, it is open. However, also our borders are closed. You cannot access Uganda as I speak.
Right.
But it doesn't mean you're not going to access Uganda for the next months.
Right.
Yes.
It's just a matter of time. So
yeah, it's gotta be working by the fall.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes. And then also we have been so lucky that we only have 56 cases in Uganda.
Oh, very good.
Oh, wow.
And as we speak, I think 40 people have been cured and they've been discharged.
Oh, good.
Oh, nice.
Thanks to our government.
Oh, that's good.
That is good news.
Is that because, did you guys close your borders very early, or there just wasn't? Oh, okay.
Yes, we closed our borders very, very early, and also they closed schools and movements very early. As I speak, all our offices are not working. And I think this time we have really got it right.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. And also the other good news about the Uganda Wildlife Authority, they even relaxed the rules for the gorilla permit changes and all that. So it doesn't stop people from booking, because even if there is any change due to COVID virus, they can adjust without any extra charge. I think that's good news.
Yeah, that's excellent. It, protects the gorillas, and also gorilla trekking permits are expensive. So it makes people not afraid to purchase the permits if they can get moved. So
they're not tied to a specific date anymore?
Mm.
I think they are originally, but then if you can't trek on that date because of the situation, then they'll move it to a new date.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
I think they're still set to certain dates just because of the limited number of people that can trek every day. So they have to keep track of how many people per day.
Right. So I guess
Yes.
people do people know that people who are listening maybe do or don't know that you can't just start trekking through the jungle and go find some gorillas. It's not like you just get a park pass and you can go. You get a specific gorilla trekking permit that lets you trek the gorillas, but in a defined group. Usually, I guess they were about eight to. How many would you say?
Don't go beyond 8 people in a group. And also you can't just go to the park with, even if you have your permit, you've got to go through, they have to screen you and make sure that you're the right person who's going for the trekking.
Yeah, you have to bring your passport with you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very, very regulated. But, you know, it's very expensive, so you would want it regulated. You wouldn't want somebody showing up saying, yes, I'm Marianne Southall. I'm going to go trekking.
And also, yes, and
like
also
sorry,
I beg your pardon?
You're accompanied by a proper an armed guard, and this armed guard was in Rwanda. Are they armed in Uganda as well?
Yeah, I think we had one armed guard, remember, at the end?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, we did. Yes.
So, yeah, they make sure that every group, mainly for the ladies who like say, oh my God, how will I be myself in a jungle alone? So all 8 people, you go with a minimum of 4 guards.
Right. Yeah.
You have the guide with the gun. You also have the 2 guards, and also you have, even when you reach, you have the rangers there. So you can have like Uganda Wildlife Authority staff, like 8 of them in the group. So it's generally not dangerous at all. And you're always protected. Because I know with women, it's all about safety. We have to feel safe.
Yes. There we go. It's a little better. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so your permits let you go up in a group, in the supervised group, to actually come quite close to the gorillas and see them. But anyway, I don't know what order you wanted to talk about stuff, Marianne. I just think gorillas are awesome.
Start kind of at the beginning, maybe, and let's just talk about gorillas first.
Okay.
Just generally. And
that is not a mountain gorilla.
That is not a mountain gorilla. That is, we should give out prizes. If anybody can say what kind of gorilla that is, you win a prize. So there are 4 types of gorillas in the world. This is the cross river gorilla. They're restricted to the forested hills and mountains of the Cameroon-Nigeria border region. And they are the most critically endangered of the gorillas. And you'll see a difference in, as we look at the different types of gorillas, you'll start to see the difference in how they look. We think all gorillas look alike, and then as you start to look at them, it's like, oh wait, I see a little difference. Okay, this guy is a Western lowland gorilla.
Similar in that he's got the short hair.
The short hair, yeah, but a little different features. Is a bigger gorilla. And he lives in the lowland forest and swamps of Central Africa. So we're talking Angola, Cameroon, Central African Republic. It does go into the Republic of Congo, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Equatorial Guinea, and Gabon? Is that right?
I think so.
Gabon?
Yes.
Gabon,
with the French accent. So, interestingly enough, Western lowland gorillas are believed to be one of the zoonotic origins of HIV and AIDS. But yeah, and just like, again, like looking at diseases and how closely related we are, the Ebola epizoonotic in Western and Central Africa has caused more than 90% mortality rate in the Western lowland gorillas.
Really?
So yeah, so you know, they are very susceptible to diseases, and they're an endangered species. So we have to kind of protect them, especially when we're talking trekking and going and getting close, and you'll see some pictures of how close you get to them. So, you know, if you're sick, don't go trekking. You know.
Absolutely.
And this guy is the eastern lowland gorilla, and he is the most closely related to the mountain gorillas, which is what the species that we're going to talk most about. And these guys live in the forests of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and they're the largest of all the 4 gorilla species.
That's the one also that they call Grauer's gorilla?
Yes, yes. And that's after who I think discovered them.
Maybe, yes.
There are far fewer eastern lowland gorillas than the western lowland gorillas, and their numbers are declining. And outside of their native range, only 1 female eastern lowland gorilla lives in captivity, and she is at the Antwerp Zoo in Belgium.
Really?
Yeah.
Most gorillas, well, the mountain gorillas definitely don't do well in zoos.
Yeah, a lot of them don't do well. And
the lowland ones, the western lowland, I think, are the ones that you're going to see.
Yeah, I think so. And I think they're the most numerous of gorillas, like even in the wild. There's more of those than a lot of the other species.
But you were saying they've been hard hit by Ebola.
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty sad.
And this guy is the mountain gorilla. They're the smallest numbers. They're considered in danger, but the good news is that their numbers are increasing.
Yes.
And I believe a lot has to do with a lot of the efforts that the gorilla trekking definitely revolves around these guys. You know, Ellen DeGeneres, certainly, like, there are a lot of research, a lot of the good in the world with gorillas happens with the mountain gorillas, you know.
Yes.
all the good stuff. So,
sorry, I'm trying to get out of that light beam. Oh, okay. Here we are.
So let's look at where they are. So this is kind of a big overview of Africa, or at least kind of Central Africa here. And we are looking right in this spot here, this little tiny corner where the 3 countries meet, which is Rwanda, Uganda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. So right in there, and if we could see, I can't move my arrow, but see Irene, she would be, my laser pointer, probably, where would you be? Right around here, Irene?
Yeah, we are where there is the dot.
Yes. Yes. So a dot is on Irene. So, but when we're talking trekking, we're trekking either kind of along here or along here. Let's get a little closer look. So here we go. So a little closer look. So here's our border again. This is the Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Up here we have Uganda, and down here we have Rwanda. So in Rwanda, we're looking at the oh my gosh, Volcanoes National Park. And up here we're looking at Bwindi Impenetrable Forest, which is very well known.
Yes, impenetrable.
Yeah.
Except by gorillas and rangers with machetes.
So I did read that there's actually a thought by some people that they should be almost 2 subspecies of the mountain gorillas, because they kind of don't interact. Is that right, Irene?
No, they don't interact.
So the gorillas that are here in Bwindi are here in Bwindi, and the gorillas that are down in Volcanoes National Park are down here. And so they're all different. They both, from both parks, they tend to be very close to the border with the Congo. And so they can go into the Congo, and people from the Congo can get into the parks along the borders.
Yeah.
Although they do try to, they have rangers and they try to man them and watch for that, but it can happen. And there are definitely mountain gorillas that do live in the Congo.
Yes.
Although
Well,
they're much better protected in either of these parks.
The Congo research and work on gorillas is still very much in its infancy compared to Uganda and Rwanda. So
and
like
however,
a lot of the groups.
Yeah. However, we do have like migrating gorillas and also the permanent residents. So there are those mainly in Rwanda. Some of those gorillas come to Uganda. And then also we do have some, like you said, some gorillas that go to Congo. However, there are those that we have in Windy that would never ever cross border to Congo because they are territorial gorillas. So they if they are Congo, they will stay there. But they're also that group that is not like habitated. So some of them once in a while can cross over.
Gotcha.
Yes, and we've experienced the territorial nature of the gorillas firsthand.
Yeah.
More on that.
Yes.
Yes.
Take my laser.
The hike from hell. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it like, it's amazing to see it with no clouds.
I know.
This is Photoshop. It doesn't actually look like this.
I know. I was just going to say, that's what you put in a picture of Costa Rica or something. That's not Volcanoes National Park.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be Volcanoes National Park.
I'm sure it is. I've just never seen the top.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the Uganda Park, Volcanoes National, or sorry, the Rwanda Park, Volcanoes National Park. They say that, whoa, lost my notes. That more than half of them live in the Virunga Mountains. Now, the Virunga Mountains, though, that goes into Congo, right? So that's the whole mountain range. Windy,
yes,
in Pendarul, that's the Virunga Mountains too, right? Or no?
No, Windy is far away from the Virunga.
Okay, so the Virunga is just in Rwanda going into the Congo. Yeah, okay, getting our geography right here. And so the mountain gorillas live up in the mountain on the sides of these, the greeny kind of side of the volcanic mountains, and they live at elevations of about 8,000 to 13,000 feet. So you keep that in mind when you're trekking, because you're going to them. Yes, that's where they are.
That's true. There's a little bit of altitude adjustment to be done.
Yeah. Yeah, and I felt it was higher in, because Kirsten, a bit of background, Kirsten and I have trekked in both Rwanda and Uganda. So we have a little bit. So Irene, what about, have you trekked in both Rwanda and Uganda?
No, but I have tracked many groups in Uganda.
Yes.
I've not tracked in Rwanda since the permits even for residents for East African nationals is still high.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Yes. Yeah. So, but I've been to Virunga. I've been to the national to the trekking area, and yes, it's really hilly as well. It's like in Uganda at the same time because they're mountain gorillas.
Yes.
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 I thought, yeah, people often ask us, don't they, Marianne? Like, what's the difference? What differences did we find hiking in Uganda versus Rwanda? And I think it really, I mean, it depends on the particular hike you had in either place. We happen to have difficult hikes in both places. So I think we were comparing apples to apples. They were just a different kind of difficulty. Like the Rwanda was wetter, and that's maybe time of year we were there too, but Rwanda was, wetter and a lot the mud.
And slippy.
Yeah, so slippery with the mud. Like the mud was a significant factor. Whereas in Uganda, when we were there, it was quite a bit drier, but the slipperiness came from all the needles on the forest floor.
Yeah.
So that was kind of steep and slippery.
Yeah.
So it was steep and slippery on both of them. So you had to really watch where you were going for sure. Definitely you needed a porter to carry your stuff. Worth their weight in gold.
Yes.
And the good thing about the porters is, at least in Rwanda, and I think maybe in Uganda, a lot of them used to be poachers, and they would track, or bush meat people, or trackers. They would track for not for animal preservation, but their skills as trackers are still excellent. And so now people have work to do, gainfully employed in protecting the species, which is awesome. But they both need a porter and a stick.
Yes.
There's some. Oh, there's a family with a little baby.
Family. Okay, but they're not. I always want to call them families, but they are
Groups.
Troops or bands. But I always call them families. Officially, this is a troop, but we're going to call it a family. And so when you see this family here, troop, this is obviously silverback, the big male. You can see his silverback. And there were two females here. So here's one, and the other's kind of here getting facing over by the male or something.
Yeah.
And she is holding a little teeny baby. You can just see the little baby's hand here, and that's the little baby's head. And we got fairly close.
Yes.
It's surprising how close you get and how they ignore you when you're so close. They're so used to people. They're habituated to people. They're used to their daily hour-long visit from people, and they really just ignore you. Except if you're lucky enough, and I've never been lucky enough, which makes me keep coming back for more.
Yes.
That if you get a troop or family with juveniles, so I guess around like 2 to 6 years of age, would that be a good age to say? They are very curious, and like our children tend to do things they're not supposed to. So they'll go and they'll actually run by people and touch them, or come and visit people and maybe touch them. So you are not allowed to touch them, and you're not allowed to get within a certain distance of them. But if you're standing there and the baby comes and touches you, that's okay.
Yes.
They're allowed to do whatever they want. So you just have to stand there and pray and hope that you're the lucky person.
Yes.
I've never been, but obviously
I have been lucky to beat up. I have been lucky to beat up 2 times.
Oh.
Yes, and there was a time I got it on video, but I must say it's one of the best, amazing feelings. Of course, they didn't like touch me and smooth me, no, but it came like this, woo, 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 boom. And she hit me with the elbow.
Yeah.
But it was a very exciting moment. I can't explain it in words.
Yeah. Oh, that would be so amazing.
Next time.
Yeah.
And seeing their eyes, seeing the look in the gorilla's eyes, I think for me is the most pivotal moment, when you first look into the eyes of a gorilla sitting not very far away from you. You can't even for a second think there's not intelligent life in there.
Oh, you know that they're looking.
You know that you're staring into the face of a thinking creature. Yeah. Like they're thinking stuff just as much as we're thinking stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So these bands, troops, or as we like to call them, families, can be up to 30 individuals. Although, well, in my limited trekking experience, I've only seen like 4 or 5 at the most. And it can be hard to see them. Like you can be right there, and until your tracker is like moving branches and pointing, you're like, oh, really? Like we could have, when we hiked up to Karasoke, we could have walked past that one gorilla and not noticed.
Absolutely.
And, like until somebody's like, look, and it's like, oh, they're right there. It's very dense and they're very well camouflaged. So they're often there, like more around you, that you just don't even know we're there.
Yeah. Very true. Irene, how many times have you been trekking? How many times have you gone up to see the gorillas?
In total, I can say 6 times.
Wow. Nice.
Yes.
And
6 times, but some memorable moments. Of course, when they touched me, and also the most memorable was the first time I went. But what I've noticed, every time I go, it's a different experience.
Yes.
Every time. So it's not that every time you go, you see the same thing. This time they can do totally something different. That's the beauty of visiting the animals. Yes, it's really, really beautiful visiting the gorillas. Yeah, because they are so unpredictable.
Yes.
And every single time you go, you get different photos of them and a different experience. There was a time I went, it was raining, and we fell more than 20 times, sliding. Yeah. It's a beautiful experience.
I'm very good at going down mountains on my butt.
Yes.
Just because
yes.
Give up trying to walk. I'm going to slide down on my butt.
Yeah, on your bottom. I have long memories of Marianne sliding her way down the one hill in Uganda. It's like, you know what? Forget this. I'm just going. This is how I'm going now.
Yes.
I'm going to end up here anyway. I'm going to just start here.
Yeah. So it can be. So on that though,
and the most. Yes.
Oh. Okay.
I beg your pardon?
What did you say, Kirsten?
Oh, sorry. I said on that note, it can be quite slippery.
Yes. It can be wet and slippery. What is the saying? Gorillas in the mist and what do they call it?
Mizungas in the mud.
So
Mizunga is it's not entirely polite, but we still don't mind being called Mizungas. Like,
we don't know any better. We're like,
we don't know any better. So we are clearly Mizungas when we're there. So there's, instead of gorillas in the mist, it's gorillas in the mist, Mizungas in the mud.
Yes.
We are the Mizungas.
We are the Mizungas. Yes.
Yes, and to add on that, what the ladies need to know, gorilla trekking can be done by anyone as long as you really love it. They have different options. If you're really, really very, very weak and you can't walk completely, they can carry you to see the gorillas. And that is a beautiful experience as well. Of course, you're charged a little bit. However, we have different groups. We have the groups that you can easily walk there and see them, but there are also those ladies that want to feel the challenge.
I'm thinking that's not the plan anymore. Because
Marianne and I 2 times were like, we can do this.
We can do this. We'll do the hike. We'll do the long one. Yeah, nothing to prove. Nothing to prove.
Go ahead. Not now. Give me the small family, like 2 meters that way every time.
No. On the other side, I always encourage all ladies to do the medium group, because the medium group, you can see them easily without putting in a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Right.
And
then there is also the lazy group, the group whereby you just walk and you see them. But that one,
most of the ladies, kind of appealing because, you know.
That one, most of the ladies don't like it a lot. They prefer the medium because it gives them a little challenge, and when they get the certificate, they're like, yo, I earned it.
You have to know that you did something.
Yeah.
Yes.
That you just like, it's not a zoo. You have to know, Definitely.
And also, as you're going through the forest, it's really beautiful. It's like the deeper you go, it's like you're in a different world.
Oh, the scenery is amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So I always encourage the medium group, in that at least you do something and then you get the certificate and put it on your wall saying, yes, I earned it.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's some nice mountain gorillas.
There's some nice mountain gorillas. So
These look familiar. These look like the ones that we saw.
they are. These are all pictures that we took. So,
Yes.
Yes. So, you know, if you wonder if you'll get the good pictures, you'll get the good pictures.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice
So just a few more facts.
Okay.
I researched for this, so.
Yes.
So gorillas' standing height is 4 to 6 feet, and they weigh between 300 and 485 pounds. So
Wow.
they're powerful and heavy, but they're non-aggressive. So
No,
they
not like
really are very placid.
Yeah.
They eat roots, shoots, fruit, wild celery, which isn't like celery at all.
not like celery, even a little.
Even a little, but it's called wild celery, tree bark, and pulp.
It sounds like celery when they're eating it.
Yeah, it's crunchy. And it's green.
I tried.
They're led by the one older male, the dominant male, which we call the silverback. There can be other males in the troop or family, but they're going to be subservient to him. He's the one that's mating with the females and doing all that. And once they get to an age where they need their own family, they'll leave and find their own family.
I think some of the non-dominant males do have an opportunity to mate with some of the females as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, depending on how tolerant they are and how big the group is.
Okay.
You might even get a blackback sometimes.
Oh yeah, so yeah, sometimes there's like the dominant male, and then there's some others. So yeah. Okay, so any other gorilla facts I can think of?
Oh, just saying hi to Leslie from Sri Lanka.
Hi, Leslie from Sri Lanka.
Hi, Leslie. That's so exciting.
Okay,
oh, there's volcanoes.
There's Volcanoes National Park. So a lot of these pictures ended up being from Rwanda, and I don't know why. It's just I probably took more pictures then. But it's very similar in both. So kind of the setup of how gorilla trekking for the day goes. It happens almost exactly the same in both places. So you start off early in the morning. Someone asked me today what time, and like for the life of me, I couldn't remember exactly what time we left to head to the park.
We got up before the sun.
Yeah.
Oh, you always leave at, you have your breakfast at 6:30.
Okay.
Then 7, you go for briefing.
Okay.
Then by 8, that's when you enter the forest. That's when you begin to walk.
Okay.
Yes.
So that was kind of close to what I remembered. Like by the time you got up, kind of was still kind of dark out, but then as you got there, it was getting to be light.
Yes.
So this is actually pictures from Rwanda, and these are locals doing. They're doing a dance for us, which was really kind of cool, and it shows how important to both areas, to Rwanda and to Uganda. Gorilla trekking brings in a lot of money to the economy, to the local economy. And that is important because everybody needs money. Nobody lives and eats in houses, and everybody in this world pretty much needs some money, and they need a way to get it. So gorilla trekking gives them a positive kind of hand in conservation way to make money, as opposed to other means which could be detrimental to gorillas. And so these guys were the dance, and then we could they had a little tip jar, and everybody kind of threw in a little bit of money for them. And it was actually really nice. In the morning, you had coffee or hot chocolate, tea, kind of mulling around, getting organized to go, and the show was a great kind of send off for us. Here's a picture with before the track. You can tell by how everybody's not muddy.
Yes.
So the men in blue are the porters.
Ooh.
And porters are important in so many ways. The lady in green was the guide, and then you would have also with you, as Irene had said, you'll have a ranger, and trackers are kind of either in the forest already know where your family is, or troop, and telling others on the radio, or they're leading you to them. So when you're going in there, you're just not aimlessly looking for a bunch of gorillas. Someone is already has the trackers are there. They know where the troop went to bed at night, and they kind of know where they got up in the morning, and they're kind of following them at a distance. I'm sure the gorillas know they're there, but they're at a far enough distance. You're not making sight with them. They're tracking them, and they will tell your trackers exactly kind of come here, over here, we moved over here, and that leads you to the troop that you were to go see. So you're assigned a troop before you even leave in the day, and that is your troop that you're going to go meet up and see. The porters are very important because one is, don't underestimate how much you're going to need their help, because you will, despite how fit
doesn't matter how fit you are.
You don't walk up and down muddy and forest mountains every day, so you will need some assistance. And also,
that's $10 you could ever spend, or 20.
Yeah, I think it's like $19. Like, really, if you can't afford $19, you're not traveling to Uganda for 2 weeks. So, $19 to them is so important. To us, it's like a tip. So, and we always tipped on top of that. But really, it's not, for everybody in the group to get a porter is so good for them, and so good, you'll be so happy you did. And I can tell you, every time I've tracked, the people in the group that choose not to get porters because, I don't know, whatever their reason is, have used everybody else's porters. So just get your porter.
Always. Because the people that are helping are so nice, they're going to help everybody, obviously.
Yeah, so they help everybody. So, just you think you're going to do this, and you maybe you could, but it's $19. It's going to help them hire them.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is the start off point, which looks so nice. It's such a nice, easy.
And also, it creates job opportunities.
Yeah. Job opportunities. Yep.
Yeah. Gives these guys jobs.
There, that's the Virunga I remember.
That's the Virunga. So you
Top
see
of the
the
mountain
difference between that other picture, which was the same mountains, just with no clouds. I'm sure it was Photoshop, because I think it always looks like this. That you disappear up into those clouds. So it starts off in this nice little road, and then it turns into a path, and then it turns into a smaller path, and an uphill muddy path, and then no path.
Yeah.
And that's how it goes.
Yes, that's actually a very good description of the entire hike.
Oh, here we are, and we are.
Oh,
I forget. Oh, it says, I can't really read it.
This is the meeting post, or the signpost, where you leave to go up Basoki one way, and then you can go to Diane's, to Karasoke, to the gravesite another way, and then the other way to the other peak.
Yeah, so it was kind of, and there was actually a bench here, I think.
There was a bench here. I'm not sure why we're not sitting on it. I look a little.
That's because we're obviously going up the hill at this point, and we're like, yeah, we got this.
Yeah, we got this. It's a little hot, but I'm good.
We sat on the bench.
True story. Going down is much harder in many ways.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard on your knees and it's flippy. Yeah, so going down, hence the whole down on my bum situation.
Yep.
So this is another kind of picture of
There we go.
what it was like and what kind of path you have for some of it. So it's an actual path, but it is slippy, and you can see the picture with the girl getting held by the hand by the porter just to kind of make sure she doesn't fall, because it doesn't look too bad, but that mud is fairly slippery.
Yeah.
And this again was in Rwanda. In Uganda, different timing. It wasn't quite like this. It was a little bit different. It was drier, but we definitely had foliage that was slippy.
Yeah. Irene, is there mud in the Uganda ones that you've been on? Was it muddy?
The one that I felt 10 times, more than 10 times, that was rainy. I think it depends on where the gorillas are.
Yeah.
Like if the gorillas are in the area which is nearby the farms of people, if it is next to the farms of people, so you have to go through people's farms, which makes it very, very slippery. But if they're deep inside the forest, then you use the normal roads, which are really hard on your knees, the sloping ones.
Yes.
So it mainly depends on where the gorillas are. The ones that I fell a lot, those ones were going through people's gardens, and of course it had rained a day before, and it rained on that day as well. But even if it rains, you still see the gorillas. Actually, I think I loved seeing the gorillas during the rain, because during the rain, they don't move a lot. Yes. They don't move a lot. So you can take as many photos as you want. Yes.
Oh, because they just sit there looking all miserable. It's raining on me. I don't like it.
Oh.
Yes. Of course, they will look at you.
Where are my boots?
There's some nice muddy boots.
And these are Gators I'm wearing, which I really didn't know much about Gators until gorilla trekking. And they're brilliant. They're like little nylon kind of covers that go over your boots and over your pants and keep stuff from getting in your socks and in your boots and keep the mud kind of off a bit. And these are my boots after I used a stick to scrape mud off. So you can kind of see lines on the boot. That was these are the boots kind of cleaned off of mud a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I think this is too much mud.
Oh, they were so heavy trying to pick your feet up.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And these are my other favorite.
I think Uganda is drier a little. Yeah.
Uganda?
I think in Uganda we don't have too much of it.
Yeah, I think. Well, I wouldn't be an expert, but it was definitely wetter.
Yeah, in Uganda it's not too much like this. It's not too. We have red soil, I think. Yeah, it's red.
And this picture is of something else I did not encounter.
No, it's not too much like this.
No. This is a Rwanda specialty. The stinging nettle.
The stinging nettle. These are the most vicious, awful plants in the whole world.
Yes.
And everybody's like, oh, I don't want to go to Africa because of the bugs or the snakes. No. You don't want to go to Africa because of these things. They are like awful.
They're an awful plant. Awful plant. Paths of mud lined with stinging plants. That was the only unpleasant part.
And grab you. And
they do. They do. And they go right through your nylon pants. They don't go through Gators though.
And so it hurts. So you pull it away, and then it's like stings for a few minutes, and it's like, okay, gone. And then hours later, you're like throbbing from where it stung you. It's
really weird.
Yeah, but I didn't see any of these in Uganda.
They don't have the stinging nettles, but do you remember your lobelia, I think it is, or one of your plants that they really liked had spikes coming out of it? The black spikes, and we
do have we don't have these ones.
Yeah,
but we have something that when it just passes by your skin, it's a little itchy, but it doesn't sting.
There's
Yes.
there was,
but we don't
something
have
that-
these ones, I think. We don't. I've not
No, I don't think
experienced
you
it.
have stinging nettle, but you have one that I didn't care for that was, but you could see it from a while away. It looked like something you could grab onto to support yourself, but it was spiky. It was thorns.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. These were. I remember these. These are the reason to trek in Uganda as opposed to Rwanda, I think.
True story. True story.
Yeah. Yes. They're
It's cheaper, and you don't have stinging. Oh, there's me! Yay!
Kirsten.
There's the gorilla behind me.
You can see kind of perspective here that, you know, there's Kirsten and there's a little bit of foliage, and right behind the foliage is the gorilla.
Yeah, so the foliage would have been about, yeah, I don't know, the gorilla would have been about 6 or 7 feet away, maybe.
Yeah.
I was looking a little dazed, I see.
Well, I think you can see the red cheeks and stuff. That's because we were pretty high at that point.
We were high and hot.
Yeah.
But you couldn't take anything off because it would sting you. Oh, that guy was in Uganda.
He was in Uganda. He was posing for us. He actually pulled branches down and kind of put his head on there. He kind of watched us
and posed.
And said, "Okay, fine, take my picture."
It was awesome.
He was a big silverback. You can't see it from this angle, but he's got the big, huge, wide silverback.
So that's, and then Diane's gravesite.
Yes, and this is something that we do on the tour coming up with Irene, is we go to the Karasoke Research Center, which is very special. I'm gonna let Kirsten was,
now, may I ask, are we going to the Karasoke currently, or the old site, this site? Because Karasoke,
this site, the Karasoke
Old Research Center, because if anybody who's read the books Gorilla in the Mist, or Farley Mowat did Virunga. He did, Farley Mowat did a great book called Virunga on Diane Fossey's life. So this is her, is the gorilla graveyard, and her actual gravesite is on the site of her first research, technically her second research center, Karasoke. So that's a good ways up the mountain, actually. It's not very far from the Congo, is actually where it's at. But I'm just not sure, Marianne, now if we're going up, if we're hiking up to that, or if we're going to the other Karasoke.
Irene?
Do you know?
I thought this was where we were going, up to here.
Yeah, we'll be going to the, up here. We were going to the research center.
Nice.
Yes, the Karasoke Research Center is off, not to the tombs.
Not to the tombs. Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Which makes, and it does make sense, because this was, if you remember, this was actually a pretty decent hike as well.
This was a very, this was quite a hike.
Yes.
Now there is, and we'll go through it a little bit more after, but on the day that we do golden trekking in Rwanda, so there will be trekking. So the golden monkey trekking is included.
Yes.
And but on that same day, you could opt to do a gorilla trek, another gorilla trek. You have to pay for it. And the Rwanda gorilla trek, $1,500 US. Just keep that in mind. But I
think it's a golden monkeys. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the golden monkeys, or you could do that if you want to pay for it, or you could probably, if you wanted to do this trek.
Did you remember there were groups that were able to go up here.
Yeah, so you could do that too on that day, and then the next day we go to the Karasoke Research Center.
Yes. So we get to, Irene, we get to learn a little bit more about what their current conservation efforts are then.
Yes.
And
we will look at it after. We'll look at it tomorrow and see how best to change it, to add in something.
Gotcha.
All right.
Yes.
All right, Mare. What else have you got there? Oh, there's her gravesite, Diane Fossey.
So that's up with the gorilla grave sites.
Yes. So this is by her favorite gorilla, Digit, who really kind of started his death, solidified her, not just her conservation efforts, but it is solidified in her mind that conservation was needed. It was kind of a very traumatic, but also very pivotal event for her, from just researcher to, some people might say, rabid activist. But just because she was a hard person to like by a lot of people. But she was passionate about the gorillas, for sure. Very passionate. Yay.
Do we have any questions? Oh, here's a question. Can we accommodate food allergies such as dairy or anything cooked with red wine? Yes, because there will be people there waiting to drink the red wine for you. Yes, absolutely. We can accommodate any food allergies. Just let us know ahead of time. And Kirsten herself is vegan.
And I'm vegan, and have had no trouble making do. But I'm also very fortunate in that I don't have any allergies. But on every tour, and including even into Uganda, there's food allergies. I think dairy would probably be the one you'd have to just worry about the most. But even that, it should not be hard to do.
Yeah, especially if we know ahead of time, because we'll let the chef know at the different lodges, and they can be prepared, just so that they have what they need ahead of time. But yeah, great question.
Very good question. I'm usually the one with the most annoying dietary issues. But I personally don't find any dietary concerns annoying, but I'm just glad it's not just me.
And also to add on the meals, for vegetarians in Uganda, we are really well known for the best vegetables. We do have a lot of wide variety of vegetable.
Oh,
and it's like we don't spray it or anything. It's natural vegetable.
Yeah.
So you just let us know early enough and we inform the hotels.
Yeah. There was never a problem in Uganda finding good meal, I'll tell you.
No.
No, the food was so good. And the lodges are so well done, and the meals are like, it's like, 4 or 5 star meals. Like you have no issues with food at all.
We have another question, Mare. When trekking to see gorillas, how long is the hike?
It could depend.
And that is another good question, and it can really vary.
It can really vary. And what we've had happen is, because a lot of times we'll be split on our groups. So the Women's Travel Club might not all be together in one group going out. And so one group might be done after a few hours, and they'll go back to the hotel and have the rest of the day at leisure. And then the other group could be, 10 hours by the time you're done. So it just varies. And keep in mind that when we get there and we're signing up for our groups, you can make that choice. You can say, I can't walk for 10 hours. Give me the close group, and you'll have a nice easy trek. Or you can be crazy like Kirsten and I were, and like, yeah, we can do it.
Yeah,
and you're gone like till it starts. No, but and so you get to choose, and somewhere in between too. So
yeah. I think 4 hours would probably, by the time you
with them for an hour.
You're with them for an hour. Plus,
they always seem to go a little bit over the hour. So, but
they do. So it's going to probably take you a minimum of an hour to find them.
Yeah, I would say. And then a little less time to come back because
you don't have to trek, like you can just do the rest. 3 hours might be a record, but I think probably that would be closer to 4.
Yeah.
Mainly when you're going down, it takes an average of like 2 hours. Then when you reach, you spend like 1 hour. Then coming back, you take 3 hours. So that is 6 hours, a minimum of 6 hours. And remember, these are wild animals. So you can wild animals, they can be close or they can be near, all far away. It depends on where the animals are. It's the gorillas that rule the trekking. If they're far, of course, sometimes you could use a car and get to the nearer get off, then you follow them. But most times it's a minimum of 6 hours doing the whole activity.
Yeah.
And also it depends on how many you are. If you're many and some people are not fast, so we have to wait for everyone.
Sure.
We have to wait for everyone.
Yeah. So in your group.
So it can be longer or it can be, yes, because we are a group.
Yeah. Nobody will ever leave anybody behind. So
yes,
it can vary, but you can definitely have a little bit to say about it. Keeping in mind that, who knows where they'll be for sure. Someone asked about laundry. Most of the lodges have laundry service. So if you need laundry done while you're gone, you can usually get laundry done when we're at multiple nights.
And I noticed that the itinerary is quite nice. There's like a couple of nights at least in each spot.
So it's nice. So you're not bouncing every day from lodge to lodge. You've got like 2 or 3 nights at the various lodges. So it's good. It's a full itinerary. We do a lot, but it's not so much of bouncing every night with different
so that's a little nice. Definitely. So Shirley has said to thanks, Irene. Understand hiking up by 2 hours, coming down is longer. Have the hike in the Grand Canyon. She's hiked the Grand Canyon 3 times now, and 2 hours up for every hour down. Interesting.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. I'd love to do that one day.
There's so many places to go. Not enough time.
It's a big world still.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have any other questions? Else we're going to probably sign off. Because have we got? Oh yeah, we're over our time. We're always over our time. But if there's not any questions, and if you do think of something at a later point, just
email.
Send us an email, give us a call, chat on the computer, whatever, and we will certainly answer any questions you may have. But thank you so much for joining.
Yay.
And we
Thanks
hope
everybody for coming.
About gorillas as much as we loved talking about gorillas. Next week's travel talk is on polar expeditions, and we're going to have Laura Gano from Cork Expeditions joining us, and she works in the office at Cork now, but she used to be a tour guide, so she's the perfect person to take us through polar expeditions. So we're going to leave gorillas next week, and we're going to visit the penguins and the polar bears. So definitely next week for that talk. And then we'll probably get into some travel talks that aren't just about animals, although no promises. Okay.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
everybody.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Irene.